Yeah. So I just got done watching the first three episodes of the beginning after the end anime, and to nobody's surprise, this show is not good. This is bad. This is doo doo. This is terrible, and I'm going to explain why. So, the beginning after the end. This is a show to come out of the spring 2025 season, and you're probably wondering, what is this show? Who is this by? Who even was anticipating the show, right? Well, believe it or not, this is somehow at the number five spot for the most highly anticipated anime to watch of the spring 2025 season, at least on the Miami List website as we speak. So, like, it's crazy. They have the likes of Fire Force Season 3, Lazarus, Rolling Breaker Season 2, even like the Slime 300 Season 2 series that's in these top placements. And here at the number 5 position, as you can see here, this is here at the number 5 spot. And you're wondering why? Why is this show over here in this place right now? When shows like that's currently airing in the same season as these four shows I mentioned here, like the Boku no Hero season, should be at number 5, or even The Witch Watch, or even Takumi the Song, Please Put It On, or literally even colon generic romance. There is a ton of shows below this generic show that should be in the number 5 placement. But I digress. This show, what is the show all about? What is this from? Who made this show? Well, this show has been going through a lot of scrutiny as of late, and I'm going to more or less tell you that right now, as of me recording this video, as of April 2025, I think that the beginning after the end is gonna go down as one of the worst animes come out of 2025, hands down. And it's not only because of how bad the animation is, how super rip off the source material is, but just simultaneously a lot of the background that came into what I found out when it came to the adaptation plan of this anime. So first off, Studio A Cat Studios. If this is a studio you have not heard about, don't be shocked because this is a studio that I'm pretty sure no one has ever heard about at one point or another in the modern day. But the reason I instantly recognized them was through this show right here called She Professed Herself Pupil the Wise Man, which was a show that came out back in 2022. And I remember this show coming out, and this show was dog shit. It was terrible. It had some of the worst animation of that year. I think it was like the lowest rated anime at 1.2 of the year. And I dropped it after 3 episodes because it was so bad, so hard. Like the moment you watch anything from the show, you feel like puking because the animation was like Berserk 2016 levels of bad. It was just a really bad, really forgettable, another generic isekai anime that no one gave a shit about. So the fact that, I never heard of studio, never gave a shit about it ever again, I went into this show because, again, it was at the number 5 placement of the highest anticipated anime of spring of 2025. And yeah, 3 episodes in, and this show is the most painful experience I've experienced so far this year. And it's not even close. Again, um, the show is about as typical and as generic as every isekai show out there is. But what is painfully obvious about the show is that this is literally ripping off the first season of Mushoku Tensei, which does a better job not only animation wise, but storytelling wise, world building wise. Like, it's literally ripping off Mushoku Tensei in the worst diluted way possible. And I cannot even describe why this show even got green in the first place. Because again, it's about a dude who was a big, powerful tyrant and he ruled the world in his previous life. And then all of a sudden he dies. And dies, we don't know how because they somehow didn't fucking describe in the first episode. And from there on, he wakes up as an infant baby and realizes, oh shit, I got reincarnated to a different world. Like, like my god, the animation of the show is so lifeless, so soul sucking that this show at the moment is currently getting shit on for the fact that a lot of the animation moments when it comes to movement or fighting is like PowerPoint presentation slides. And I didn't believe it at first. And honestly, realistically, I dropped this show after the first episode because, like, you know what? I'm not going to bother talking about a really bad show. What's the point? But man, as episode 2 and even yesterday's episode came out, I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna give this one a shot. I might as well dive deep into the cesspool and figure out, is it as bad as everyone's saying? And I can now confirm after watching the second episode and yesterday's third episode, it is bad. It is definitely bad. It is definitely the worst animated show of the year, the worst voice acting of the year. The theme song of the show, I swear to God, I know this might be a reach. I'm gonna say that right now. But the theme song of the show reminds me of the dumbass theme song from X Arm. Like if you remember X Arm's theme song where it was like super pumped up and hyped the fuck up type of moment, that's what you're getting with this show's theme song. And I wish I could take that comparison away, but Jesus, it's stuck in my head now. So again, we're only 3 episodes in. It is definitely now one of the worst animes of the year. But what's even more stupider is that the author of the show decided that it was that he was trying to put all the blame towards the studio when in reality this is all his choice. And how do I know this in fact? So there's been like a pretty big forum that's been going on as a result of this show coming out. And as you can see in the forums, I don't know, you might be able to read this, but a lot of people saying that it's worse than Mushoku Tensei. Some people saying that it's even lower than Uzumaki. And as of April 16th, yesterday, the creator decided to drop an update regarding how the controversy surrounding this show and everything. And I already have it popped up. So shout out to Dag, shout out to Jirachio from Miami List for providing the links to and the articles to this. But I highly recommend reading these because my God, the creator of this supposed webcomic series, The Beginning After the End, has come out with probably the most dog shit excuse ever as to why he decides to pick Studio ACAT from the plethora of other studios that he could have chose from. Like, here, I'm gonna just read through just like the kind of clear copy and paste stuff of what Garaccio has reported about. Where basically in the first one, in an interview with Turtle Meat, who is the creator of the show, he basically chose 8 cat studios from Melissa Studios because they're all bad, but unless it is revealed which other studios were, it is unlikely since the contractual matter you can't know. Excuse me. He did not do a single bit of research on the studio. He stated that he chose it only because the representative of that studio, which that is insane. The fact that you didn't do research on Studio ACAT, who made this show, mind you, this show that was fucking dog shit that year, is crazy. How can you not do your own research? If that's like saying that, okay, I'm gonna choose between Studio Bind and Studio ACAT. Stuart has some really good shows, and they only have Mushoku Tensei, and it's already controversial because everyone hates them for some reason. I'm gonna go with Studio 8 Cat. They're a lot more safer. And look at these reviews; they're really good. They're really amazing. That's the dumbest shit ever. So like, you didn't even do your damn research on who you're picking to adapt your own fucking story. That's already like red flag number one right there. Red flag number two, as stated, he was heavily involved in the project of the studio that was making. So he had full creative fucking freedom to do whatever the fuck he wants. And yet, he still came out with some of the worst fucking shit you're gonna see in the first 3 episodes. Like, it's crazy. And then he also states like, and Arthur receives money when he licenses his own story, quote unquote, and so he and let's see. Usually, either you accept a percentage of the proceeds, but it seems strange to me in this context, since the anime doesn't make money directly, or you see a fixed amount agreed upon, which is probably what they did. So the "I didn't earn money" is a huge lie. Yeah, literally a huge lie. And last but not least, I don't think they held a gun to his head to make him sign the contract. He had every right to refuse an adaptation he didn't consider adequate. If he signed it, it wasn't out of stupidity or moral greed or indifference. And to kind of sum up this whole shit post, this whole shitty response from this Arthur, he more or less says that it doesn't matter if the anime is bad, it will still attract new readers. Conveniently, so basically it's like more money for his patrons and more people be like, oh yeah, you don't like the anime? It's not a big fucking deal. Like, as long as people get into it and read into the comic, then it's good. And I have to wonder, who in the fuck is gonna want to watch this show nor read the comic of the show? We've seen this type of stuff come up over and over again in the current state of how Isekai generic slop is. And the Arthur Turtle Me has the fucking audacity to just have that shitty fucking attitude to just say that, oh yeah, it doesn't matter if the anime is bad, as long as it attracts new people, that's all that matters. Like, this is absolutely stupid. This is undoubtedly not only the stupidest creator I've ever seen, from someone that decides that, okay, I'm gonna choose a studio and I choose Studio ACAT because I trusted them. But like, man, the decisions this author made is so goddamn stupid, and I had to talk about this. Again, I highly recommend checking out the forums, the Reddit forums, if anything, or and even checking out this article that Turtle decided to drop, because the article by CBR.com breaks down a really good details, like what the hell this dude was smoking and shit. And I can tell you that, trust me when I say that when you read this article, you're gonna get more and more upset and realize that this author is just a piece of shit. So yeah, undoubtedly, this is without a doubt probably going to be the worst anime of the year. I know I said that many times already throughout the video, but if this doesn't convince me or any other show that's come out so far this year that this is the worst, I don't know what is. But man, what a way to not only fumble another shitty generic isekai anime, but to just be so selfish, so stupid, and just straight up completely and utterly trying to rip off and try to capitalize the success of other better shows in this vein. So yeah, I just want to talk about this because it was still in the back of my mind after watching the first three episodes and after going through a bit of a rabbit hole as to why this show became big and controversial as it is. So yeah, that's all I want to talk about. Later.